My last decluttering series, I used the KISS acronym. It's keep it super simple. That's what I'm going to be doing again this time. Basically, if we have something that we're not using anymore, we're going to donate it to someone that will be able to use it. So I will be starting right here in our kids' playroom. This room made the biggest difference for me the last time I went through it. Literally, the more rooms you go through, the less stress you end up having, and this room causes me the most amount of stress. So I'm going through it first so that my stress level can be reduced, and then it's easier to knock out other rooms. So I started by doing a general cleanup of our playroom. So this is what it looks like on a regular basis after the kids and I have cleaned it up. This is my problem area, this shelf, and inside this cabinet. So I actually have a toy rotation system kind of in place, but clearly it has not been working for me yet. So if you guys watched my first decluttering series, I did not buy any new organizational supplies. I am a big believer in trying to use what you have first, and I went back and forth between getting these bins, and I finally just broke down and I got them. I really believe this is going to help me organize their playroom so much more efficiently. So I love that they are completely stackable, and I can open and take out that entire bin and then put it back. My biggest issue with this toy rotation closet is a lot of the stuff in here I have in just bags and the most random containers, which made it incredibly difficult to store toys in here. So first up in one of these bins, I'm going to be storing some Play-Doh. I initially stored some of the Play-Doh in one bin and then all the accessories in another, but I ended up just putting it all together in one bin and saving more space that way. So we actually had a decent amount of Play-Doh already, and then we were gifted some like hand-me-down Play-Doh items, so I'm going through a lot of those. I'm keeping anything that I feel like my kids will actually use, tossing anything that has pieces that I have no idea what they're for, so why am I keeping them? Definitely getting rid of anything that's broken or just skunked up and hard to clean. So I love starting by taking absolutely everything out of an area. So as I take things out, I'm actually putting them in two different piles. So I'm either putting it in a keep pile, my kids use it, or I'm putting it in a donate pile because they do not use it anymore. So my kids are 2 and 4, and I feel like they have outgrown toys so quickly. So a lot of these puzzles are too easy for them now, so I'm going to be donating them to somebody else that can use them. I will make sure these bins are linked in the description because I have absolutely fallen in love with them, but I got them from Target, and this little 3-shelf piece was perfect for all their puzzles that don't have boxes. So now they are super easy to grab, and it's completely stackable, which is my favorite part. So I'm just continuing to take absolutely everything out of this cabinet. I'm making sure all the pieces are put together, and I'm still putting them in a pile of keep or donate based on whether or not my kids still use them. So 8 years ago when we moved into our house, before our kids were born, this room was an office. And then 2 years ago, we decided to transform it into a playroom for our kids. So this room has seen a lot of transformations, but initially I needed to just declutter and condense down all of our office supplies that used to be in here. So that's why we made these cabinets. So these cabinets started with office supplies, and then in my last decluttering series I was able to declutter enough things that I made this entire right side our toy rotation closet. So basically, if my kids want to get a new toy out, they have to put another toy away first. So I have only been dealing with toys for the past 4 years. My daughter is 4, and it has been incredibly difficult. It's hard to get a good rhythm of organization when they're constantly outgrowing different toys. It's been easier to let toys go now that I know that our son, who's 2, is our last, so I don't have to save any toys for any potential babies that we might have anymore. So that has made it a little bit easier for me to let toys go. But even when I just declutter and reorganize this space, I know it's just inevitable. They end up getting more toys, so I need to go through it again. It's just going to be a continuous cycle is what I feel. So before I even started filming this video, I did actually ask my daughter, who's 4.5, what toys in this playroom she would like to gift to somebody that would like to play with them instead. So whatever she's done playing with, I wanted to know what she thought would be a good gift for another kid. And she actually picked out so many items in her playroom that I probably wouldn't have even gotten rid of myself, but she was ready to give them to another kid that would be happy to have them. So I had cleaned out the entire cabinet now, top and bottom. So I was just taking the time now to put all the bins that I already filled into this space now. So I have bins that are just full of the Play-Doh, figurines, puzzles, and they are so much more organized now and easy to get to. That is the biggest takeaway here. They are easy to take in and out. So basically anything with just 1,000 different pieces I put into these bins. So my kids can take these out, but in order to take another one out, they need to put the other one away. So this is one of the bins that was just completely unstackable, had a whole bunch of different pieces, and I just put it into one of those little small compartments. It takes up so much less space, and it's completely stackable and easy to rotate in and out of this cabinet. This was another bin that I could not stack easily in this cabinet. It's just full of a whole bunch of really small blocks, and I was able to fit it all into one of these small little compartments. So the top of this cabinet I decided to dedicate just to our puzzles. So that clear organizer is also stackable with the other organizers that I got, which I love. I did not utilize that function, but I am putting all the rest of the puzzles right next to it, and they are just all around these shelves. It's so random, so unorganized, which is so unlike me, but I also just didn't have anywhere else to put them, and now they have a home, a dedicated home. It's easy to get to and easy to put them away. It is time to go through all of our craft supplies. So a lot of our projects and different things have accumulated on top of our craft boxes here, and it's a complete mess, and it looks terrible, I know. It's actually just a lot of stuff I needed to go through and throw away. I also just played with the idea of putting these bins inside the cabinet because they just looked so cluttered, and I knew I was going to end up putting stuff right back on top of them if they were left on this shelf. But because of the lip inside the cabinet, they wouldn't open all the way, and they were not going to work in there, so I decided to put them right back where they were. So the bins themselves have been extremely helpful for organizing. I put them together in this video, so definitely check that out if you have not seen it already. So I redid that organizational system at least 8 months ago now. So this is what it looks like 8 months after putting all this together. And it's just that area on top of those bins that seems to collect just the most random clutter. But the bins themselves are completely organized based on how I organized them the first time, so I consider that a success. So part of decluttering a space I always just kind of pair with organizing and just figuring out where it works best. So a lot of it is just moving things around and thinking about how it's going to work best in the space. So I feel like that's something you don't really see as much in these videos, but I did try just different things in this cabinet. I tried putting the games in here with a few of the book items. I tried putting some of the toys on this shelf instead, and it didn't work. So I ended up putting all of the stuff back on that shelf and redoing this cabinet and putting in one of the bins that I already had to store some of the just random toys that I am still keeping, part of our toy rotation system. Although I did declutter and donate a whole bunch more in a pile that I will share with you later. I am keeping with organizing like things together. So on this very top shelf, I decided to put all of our educational just booklets and supplies on this shelf. So these blue bins I got off of Amazon, and I'll make sure to link them in the description because they are just so much sturdier than a lot of these like 13 by 13 bins that I have gotten before. So I had emptied that blue bin into one of the bins in the closet, so now I was able to put all of our magnet blocks in there, and they fit so much nicer in that sturdy bin than this one. This one is a sad excuse for a bin, so I'm getting rid of it. I am quickly going through the rest of their just dress-up clothes and the rest of their toys around the playroom that are not in the toy rotation system. I also love to change any simple things I can around their playroom anytime I do any changes in here, just to make it feel even more like new and updated and fun for them. Owen is 2 and completely obsessed with his cars. He has a few that are broken that I've been meaning to get rid of. Their wheels don't turn, so he doesn't play with them, so why am I keeping them? Now I'm going through everything on this cart, and I felt like this cart kept things very organized, but it wasn't in a way that my kids could clean it back up. Like, they weren't going to be able to put all the hats on the top like they were with all the accessories on the bottom. So I decided to just put them all together into this bin that I'm going to put underneath their dress-up supplies. And the goal here is that it's going to be super easy for them to clean up their playroom themselves without me having to help. So now I'm going through all their play food. I do actually already go through this on a consistent basis, and I was noticing a lot of the pieces were missing. So I just moved that little shelf there, and of course that's where all the missing pieces had gone. So I'm putting everything back together and making sure we have all the pieces and getting rid of anything that is broken or not played with. So here's my pile of trash and recycling, and then my pile of donations. My kids do not play with any of these items anymore. And here is our revitalized playroom. I am so excited to share this with you guys. So there's all our dress up supplies, all our craft supplies is reorganized. Nothing is stacked on top of each other anymore. All our bins are neatly put away and organized into these sturdy containers. And I am so happy with how everything turned out. So I kept a lot of their toys that are in rotation on the shelves, and then everything is put back into this cabinet, which is so easy to rotate toys out of now. So I'd asked you guys in my last video what room you wanted me to do next, and a lot of you said the kitchen. So this is a really big area to cover, but it's going to be incredibly satisfying and hopefully motivating for you. So let's get started. The first thing I do before decluttering any space is just a general cleanup. I'm just making sure to put everything back where it belongs and just tidying up the entire counter space so that I have plenty of room to take things out of our cabinets, go through them, declutter, and then clean them out. So let's talk about our kitchens. So I use our kitchen literally every single day. I'm a mom to 2 kids aged 2 and 4. My husband also works full-time, so I always have dinner ready every single night when he comes home. We always eat together, and then I am also making breakfast and lunch and 2 different snacks for my kids every single day. So our kitchen gets a ton of use. I love cooking, and I especially love baking, so I have an entire baking cabinet that we're going to be going through. So with the amount of time I spend in our kitchen, I definitely need to go through things quite often. It's been 7 months since I last went through here, so when was the last time you went through your kitchen? So I do have a goal of trying to get as much off of our counters as I can. I definitely want to get this off of our counter, find a place that I can put it. And I would love to be able to put this in our pantry or maybe a cabinet somewhere. So I'm going to see what I can do, but this is kind of a big item and we use it a lot, so it might end up staying out here. I love knocking out the easiest space first, so I'm going to go through our coffee bar here. Okay, I never think there's going to be much that I'm going to get rid of in drawers, but I always go through them and I always surprise myself. So the way I like to declutter is to literally take everything out of a space. So I am putting my hands and eyes on every single item that we own. Even though I knew there wasn't much I wanted to take out of these cabinets and get rid of, I still wanted an opportunity to take everything out and just wipe down the inside of the cabinets. Sometimes just a good wipe down and straightening up in a drawer can work wonders. I generally keep manuals just for a little bit after getting new items, so I've had these for long enough, I know how to use them. I am going to be getting rid of them. You can always find manuals online too, so they are not forever lost. So my newest hobby is sourdough bread making, and I absolutely have fallen in love with it. I've been having so much fun, but I really need a spot to just have everything together in one cabinet, one drawer. So I'm just going to start making a pile of all of my sourdough bread stuff right here. You're just going through that area. Here's everything I am tossing. These expired September 2023, so getting rid of those. And here are just a couple things I'm deciding to let go. This is my baking cabinet, and I usually do like all of my baking prep work right down here, so it's been perfect to easily get things, easily get my measuring cups and measuring spoons. So I want to keep it right here, but I definitely need to just kind of go through everything, clean it out, and declutter it. So this cabinet usually doesn't get bad and disorganized and disheveled until around Christmas time or Thanksgiving, because that's when I start doing a lot of baking. But a few months ago I got into the sourdough bread making, and I've been using this cabinet a lot more. So earlier I mentioned how I was going to take all of my sourdough bread making supplies and put them into one spot. So I do end up taking them out of this cabinet for now, just so that I have everything together. And then, spoiler alert, I end up kind of fitting it into this cabinet later on in this video. So anytime I'm cleaning out and decluttering our kitchen, I always check every single expiration date. Sometimes that's the easiest way to get rid of things, is just to get rid of what's expired. So I like keeping everything front facing if I can. I don't like putting anything behind anything else, otherwise it's really hard to get to that item, and I also forget about it. So I like just keeping everything lined up if I can, and then in other cabinets I've utilized like lazy Susans so I can spin the tray around to get to what's in the back. So here's a lot of my sourdough bread supplies, and I'm gonna try my best to find the best spot for it in my cabinets. So I'm just working my way across our cabinets. The next one here is where I keep all of our plates and bowls and my recipe binder. I'm taking everything out, dusting everything off. I know there's nothing in here that I need to get rid of, but it was still very nice to dust and straighten up a little bit. So the last time I decluttered and organized in here and shared it in a video, someone had mentioned to me that the area above your stove is actually not the best spot to store your alcohol, just in case there is a stove fire, which is where a fire typically happens if it's in the kitchen. So I'm finally taking the time to move all of our alcohol into the cabinet that's over our refrigerator instead of the one that's right here. So I'm basically just switching these two cabinets around. So during Christmas time, we had a white elephant gift exchange, but the caveat was that you had to find something that you don't use in your house. So I had gotten this during the game, and it doesn't have like a bottom, and it's so heavy and hard to store, so I am going to be donating it. Next up is our spices, and I've been going a little overboard on spices because I've been trying out so many new recipes. So I always go through them and get rid of any of the expired ones, because if they've been inside this cabinet long enough for them to be expired, then I'm not using it. And my goal here is to get rid of anything we are not using. So I was playing with the idea of putting my spices on the left, and then I changed my mind. I definitely wanted to keep my plates and bowls on the left side here. I was just trying to find extra space for my sourdough bread making, but it did not work out there. Next up are all of our cups. I would love to get rid of this entire top row. They're all my husband's though, and he doesn't want to get rid of them. The rest of it is perfectly fine, and I'm getting rid of all these broken sippy cups. I will be going through our refrigerator later in this video and cleaning it out, as well as our pantry. I have this cabinet. It's just one single cabinet on the right side, and I cannot stress how nice it is having a set of Tupperware that stacks together. This cabinet has been organized since I made it this way over a year ago. So I've done all of our upper cabinets now, and I'm working my way down. We're going to go through all the drawers next. This is where I like to keep all of our utensils, and I've labeled each of these little bins. So I got these little organizers from the dollar store. They've been working great in this drawer, but I feel like just normal over time, as you're putting things away, things get disheveled and moved around. I'm not also the only one putting things away, and it just needed a good straighten up. I do end up getting rid of a few things that I will share with you guys in a little bit. We already got a replacement for this baster. It had a crack and was leaking, so I'm getting rid of it now. I'm also getting rid of a few different things that I don't ever use, as well as this avocado one-use like opener, cutter, whatever you want to call it. I can just use a knife. I don't need that bulky thing inside our cabinet. Our silverware drawer is in pretty good shape, other than eventually it starts kind of distorting and I have to refix it. You can kind of see me pop it back into place there because the silverware is just so heavy. Whenever we close the drawer, it kind of bangs the container around. But other than that, it's been holding up nicely and I didn't have much that I needed to take out of there. I'm just continuing to go left to right, just doing our drawers right now. So my next drawer up here is where I like to keep all of our oven mitts and our gloves. I like using rubber gloves for any raw items, so it's really nice having it right there in that drawer. Here is our lovely just plastic bags, storage containers, drawer, and honestly it just needed some straightening. I've seen a lot of like organizers for these containers so that it makes the drawer look nicer, but I really don't see any need for that. The boxes they come in are perfectly fine, they work, and this drawer is closed, so it really doesn't make a difference to me. Next up, I have given this drawer the name of a junk drawer, but it's mostly just items that make so much more sense having them right here in our kitchen. But it's kind of a junk drawer in the sense of it's just the drawer I end up shoving everything into, which isn't ideal, but it's also super convenient just having some tape here. I also like keeping different screwdrivers and some anti-itch cream and nail clippers and just different things that I use on a regular basis. It could definitely be termed like the utility drawer. We keep our kids' tablet in here. We also keep like all my candle warmer supplies, and I like keeping my headphones in here. But anyway, this is just my miscellaneous drawer in our kitchen. It's central in our home and just makes life a little bit easier, even though I do need to clean it out on a very regular basis. So this drawer had collected a few items that don't exactly belong in here. They have their own spot somewhere else in our house. So I just put those back where they belong, and then everything on top of our toaster oven here is trash. Our last drawer in our kitchen is just where I like to keep all of our hand towels. So now I'm moving on to the bottom cabinets. So this drawer just really needed a good tidy up, straightening, and I decided to wash down all of the bottom of this cabinet, which made the biggest difference. I've been trying to look into some pot organizers and they always just seem so flimsy, but I will let you guys know when I find a good one. It is time to get rid of these pans. The coating was coming up on a lot of it and black spots were showing up in my food, so not good. These are also things I'm getting rid of. This pan is not useful. That top, I don't even have the pan for it anymore, so why am I keeping it? I remember this cabinet being completely empty when I decluttered it the first time in my videos, and now I just have some new appliances that needed a home, so I was able to give them a home here. Here are a few things from that cabinet that I'm getting rid of. This is an electric knife cutter and it does not work. My mom had gotten it secondhand from a thrift store, so I'm going to just toss it and save whoever might want it next. These are all knife covers that we do not use or need, so I will also be getting rid of these. And this was basically just a piece of trash. Next up is the cabinet I keep all of our pans in. I have a pan organizer in here that I absolutely adore. It really helps organize these pans. My pans are very well loved. I do so much baking and just because they are a little stained does not mean they don't work just as well as a new set. I personally think pans that are well loved and used work so much better than any of the new ones anyway. This pan I've had for 10 plus years. It was like a housewarming gift in my apartment, but it is rusted over. I definitely need to get rid of that one. This cabinet is another one that I keep all of our appliances in, and I would love to be able to keep all our appliances in one spot all together, but that is just not feasible in our kitchen. Our pantry is way too small. So these cabinets work perfectly, and this is just, I feel like, a reality kitchen. Like, this is what works. This was to a blender that we no longer have because it broke, and this is just a piece of recycling, so getting rid of both of those. This cabinet is, I guess, my like hosting supplies, so I keep a lot of our trays in here and basically plastic utensils and cups, and it just needed a lot of straightening. I did end up recycling a lot of these loose odds and ends that I know I won't be using. This monster is our Ninja Foodie, and even though it takes up an entire cabinet, it's totally worth it because it's like 10 different appliances all in one. So we love it. We use it basically every single day. Okay, now I am underneath our sink, and this area just always gets so cluttered so quickly. So I'm of course getting rid of a lot of things that need to be tossed. I'm actually utilizing the little like tray that goes in our dishwasher because I was just keeping it just in case, but I ended up using it as like a little organizer down here, and it worked out pretty well. There were a lot of old brushes down here that I was no longer using, so I just finally took the time to toss them out. But in the end, all this cabinet needed was a good wipe down and reorganizing, or basically just straightening up of this space. And this is everything from under the cabinet that I am not keeping. Now we are going through our pantry. I actually go through our pantry quite often. I do a weekly meal plan, and when I make our meal plan, I always try and find what's expiring first in our pantry. I also only order what is on the meal plan for the week, so I don't have extras of things in our small pantry, and nothing is just sitting there waiting for the expiration date. So I think I grew up on cereal. That was like my go-to breakfast every single morning as a kid. Now, not so much. I'm more of a like eggs and sausage kind of person in the morning, but these were like buy one get one at our local grocery store, and I do get them for our kids every once in a while. I'm basically just going through one shelf at a time, and I'm making sure nothing is like stacked behind another item. That's how things get lost in our pantry and I forget they're there, and I end up buying another pack of whatever it is, and then I'm wasting money, and typically things start expiring before I'm using them. So I just like to keep things as front facing as possible. I never end up buying any candy, yet our pantry always seems to get so like stocked with it. We end up going to like a birthday party and my kids get these goodie bags, and I usually just let them kind of keep it here in the pantry for a little while. I'm definitely not an all or nothing kind of person. I think everything in moderation is best for us, but I do try to focus on knowing what is in our food and what is best for us, and just knowing how to make healthier choices. Milanos are my guilty pleasure. My mom had gotten these for me as a little thank you, and now I need to find a hiding spot here in our pantry. I like putting some of our not so great for you foods inside baskets sometimes because one, it like hides it so it's not the first thing you see in the pantry. It also is a great just container, like it contains it, because a lot of those are loose ends. This is basically our stock shelf, so a lot of these need to go in the refrigerator, but the original is not quite empty yet, but it's almost. So it's like my extra bottle that is ready to go as soon as the one in the fridge is done. At the bottom of our pantry here, I have this entire stack of egg containers for a friend. She has chickens and she gives the eggs away, so she was asking for some containers and I will be delivering these to her house. But basically the only thing I'd like to keep down here are our lunch bags. So I finally got to the point that I was ready to try and find a spot for all of my sourdough bread making supplies, and initially I found a pretty good spot here in our pantry because I was able to make some room, but this is all just a little bit too far away from my original just prepping spot. So I ended up moving things around in my baking cabinet and putting these back in the drawer where they were before. So earlier I mentioned I really wanted to get our mixer off of our counter, so I moved a few appliances over into this cabinet. I hope this isn't too hard to follow along, but this is where I ended up putting our mixer. It's not ideal. I was thinking I could put it in the pantry, but our shelves are too short. But in the end, it is off of this space here. So these were stuffed in our pantry. I need to return them. We've had issues with our whiz lights blinking, so those need to go. These, I think every single time I declutter, I mean to get rid of them. We've never used them and I always end up thinking, well, they'll probably be good. But this time I actually did finally bring them to our donation center. So I did find a spot in our pantry that I could put our toaster oven, but it's so big and clunky that it's kind of awkward to move back and forth. So honestly, I think I'm going to be keeping it just like on the counter. We do use it a lot because it's so much nicer heating up that small oven if we can, instead of our like giant normal size like turkey oven. I wanted to get as many things off of our counter as possible, so our Alexa dot was one of them. I tried using a few different sticky like Velcro things that I had and command strips to stick it to the top of our cabinet, and it's so ideal there. I love it, but it kept falling down. I need to find something that is stickier. So here's when I decided to be realistic and bring our toaster oven back into its spot because I definitely was not going to be moving it. I had an air purifier that was right here, so I moved it so that it wouldn't take up as much counter space, and now its home is over here. I felt like I was starting to get pretty restricted on the amount of counter space I had to do any sort of cooking or prep work, so I'm just putting away anything I can. The biggest refresh for our kitchen was definitely taking the time to put away anything we had on our counters that didn't need to be there and just wiping it down our cabinets. That made a huge difference with how our kitchen felt. It just felt so much cleaner. Our bottom cabinets always get the dirtiest, but I'm just using a microfiber towel and Miss Meyer's multi-purpose spray. I find this works so well for our cabinets and leaves them completely streak free. So this was actually a new day. I did not get to our refrigerator on the same day. That would have been way too much work, but I was about to put in a grocery order and pick it up from Walmart. But before I made that trip, I decided to clean out our refrigerator. It's always so much easier to clean out the refrigerator when you have the least amount of items as possible. So I'm working basically as quickly as possible because I don't want things sitting out on the counter, but I do like to do just the side door first. I like to wash off all the bins and then I hand dry them and put everything back For the inside of our refrigerator, I like using a spray bottle with just half water, half vinegar. I like keeping my cleaning products as simple as possible wherever I can, and the water and vinegar works so well on the inside of our refrigerator. So I used to keep our milk and our creamer here on the door, but I've actually read that it's not the ideal spot for it. It's better for it to be central in the refrigerator so that it's not exposed to the room temperature as much, so it doesn't spoil as easily. So that gave me so much more space for all of my condiments and everything on the doors here. I had read that if you put your herbs inside a glass of water that they last longer, and my cilantro definitely did. I feel like I could use a second cheese drawer. This just little drawer gets so stuffed. We always have so much cheese. But for now I just took absolutely everything out so that I could wash out this bin because it had gotten pretty gunked up. So I had mentioned with my pantry that I do a weekly meal plan and I base it on what's going bad first. I also look through our refrigerator, so whatever's going bad in here first, I try to use in my meal plan before I plan anything new. If you've watched any of my past videos, you know my fruit drawer definitely doesn't ever look anything like this, but it's seen better days. I've been super neglectful with how I've been washing and prepping and storing any of our fruit. I've just been so busy with life in general, so definitely getting this drawer back up to par so I can get our fruit washed and ready to be eaten. It's always so refreshing to have a clean refrigerator, and I'm always surprised by how little time it actually takes. Our freezer I didn't film just because I was trying to do it as quickly as possible, but it really wasn't too bad. Around this time of year I try not to keep as much stocked in here because we do have hurricanes and lose power pretty frequently. Here is the bag of everything I am tossing in our kitchen. Some of our recycling, different things I'm getting rid of, and everything all together that is being taken out of our kitchen today. Lots of donations, lots of trash, lots of recycling, and we are left with a beautiful kitchen. After a lot of requests, today we are starting on our seasonal decor closet. I feel like this is going to be perfect because we are just getting into all that seasonal decor holiday season where we are all decorating for fall and Christmas. So going through this now is really going to set us up for success at the end of the year rush. So I am setting up around our dining table. This is probably the most open space I have around our house, so it's going to be easiest for me to go through all of my storage boxes in the dining room. So Owen's room, he's 2, used to be our storage room before he was born, and then I ended up needing to move everything into his closet here. So this is where I keep all of our seasonal decor right now. I'm hoping to change that in the future, but this is what works for us, other than just the complete wreck it looks like right now. This is going to be a lot of work, but I will tell you what, it is so satisfying and so relieving to have finally gotten this closet done. So our Christmas tree is in this big red bag, and that is the biggest issue that I have with this closet. To get anything in and out of this closet, I need to take that Christmas tree out, and most of the time I don't have enough time to do that. It's so big, it's so clunky, and it hurts my back every single time I move that thing around. So what ends up happening is I will just throw things wherever I can reach around the Christmas tree in this closet. So this is what it ends up looking like. So clearly this is not working for me, and I need to figure out a new solution. So the first thing I do whenever I'm cleaning out and decluttering a space is just to completely empty the area. So I'm bringing everything here out into our dining room so that I can go through it, and anything that comes back in here is what we will be keeping, but we will be getting rid of so many things out of this closet. It's a lot of work taking everything out, but in my opinion, it's the only way to actually go through everything in a closet or a space, because I want to put my hands and my eyes on every single item here. To make it a little easier, I am putting all of our Christmas stuff on the left, and yes, I have a ton of Christmas, and I'm putting all of my minor holidays on the right. So I don't have nearly as many minor holiday boxes as Christmas, but Christmas is my favorite holiday. I am absolutely obsessed with Christmas. So I just want to make that very clear. I will still be going through all of my Christmas decor and getting rid of anything that I don't use or decorate with, and keeping what I will be using, which is still a lot, I know, for some people. So there is a difference between minimalism and decluttering. Decluttering is getting rid of everything that you don't use, and minimalism is learning that you can live without these items. So when it comes to seasonal decor, I know I can live without all of these items, but they bring me an immense amount of joy, and I do use them. So that is what we're doing here. We are decluttering everything that we do not use. First up are my fall decor boxes. So I have already decorated for fall. This was all the extra fall decor that I did not use this season. I did keep my fall decor a little bit more simple this year, so I did have a bit left over in these boxes, but I'm still going through it because I had just shoved everything back in here, and I knew there were a bunch of things in here that I probably was not ever going to use again. There are a lot of things in here that I know I have not used in 2 or 3 years in a row, so it is time to let them go. So this was just out of one of my fall boxes. Everything that I am definitely going to be getting rid of. These pumpkins, I think they are adorable, but I have not used them in 2 or 3 years now, so I will be donating those, as well as these cute little squirrels, and I'm getting rid of these like foam pumpkins. They just get these dents in them, and then I don't like them anymore, so why am I keeping them? I didn't store them properly. Getting rid of a lot of this greenery and different things that I don't use. I will be putting all the fall decor on my local Buy Nothing group. I'll share some information on that in the description, but typically you can just search your area and Buy Nothing group on Facebook and join the group, and then it's just a whole bunch of people listing things they don't need anymore. Here's a pumpkin with a bite mark out of it from my kids. Definitely tossing that. So a way to save time I found that was incredibly effective was just having one empty bin. So as I'm taking every single item out of the bin, anything that I'm keeping is going to go right back into the new bin, and anything that I'm not keeping is going into a donation pile. So I'm not having to take things out and then load them back in. I am loading them back in as I am going through everything. So here's my final pile of all my Thanksgiving and fall decor that I know I will not be using. So I actually loaded it all up into my spare Hobby Lobby bag, and I put this on my Buy Nothing group since fall is already right here. So somebody might be able to use all of this stuff. These are both signs that I used to use on our fireplace mantle, but I found a new sign that I loved, like 75% off a couple years ago, and I will not be changing that out anytime soon. I absolutely love it, so it is time to get rid of those two other signs. I also listed those on my Buy Nothing group. Next up, I'm going through all of our Halloween decor. These bags I just picked up from Target, but it was because we don't have any candy bags in the first place. This was also something I just took out of our coffee bar when I decluttered our kitchen, so I need to put that away, and I want to fit all of this inside one box. That is my goal for our Halloween decor. I like to keep things pretty simple for Halloween. I still like decorating for it, but it's still not my favorite season, so I'm keeping it more minimal and minimizing it to just one box. So when it came to minimizing the Halloween decor, I ended up putting my favorite items back in the box first, and then whatever was left was what I decided to get rid of. So I absolutely love this Peanuts mug, and that blanket is also my favorite. I'm a sucker for blankets, so that had to go on the bottom of the box. But doing it this way for me was definitely the easiest way for me to let some of these items go, knowing I was confined to just one box and whatever didn't fit was leaving. So here's everything I'm deciding to donate this time. These I think I've saved a couple times from decluttering, and now it is actually time. They are actually in a donation bin, so they are no longer going to be in our house anymore, because I never use them. I got them like 95% off or something ridiculous, and I don't ever use them. So why am I keeping them? Next up is St. Patrick's Day, and I have actually decided to get rid of everything in this bin. I'm not keeping anything. I did donate all of it. I'm not sure how much of it they will actually be able to resell. I would love some more background information on how donation centers work. If I could go there for a day and get a good idea of the things that they do end up just tossing, I wish I could figure that out. So if you guys have worked at a donation center or something before and you happen to be watching this video, let me know in the comments if you know how that works. Next up is Valentine's Day. So this box I already have limited down to just one box, and I'm going to keep it that way. But I still had a goal of going through absolutely every single item in my seasonal decor closet, and this was included. So I'm still going one by one and just determining whether or not it's something I will use or not use. And I still end up getting rid of quite a bit out of this box. Since I only have one Valentine's Day box, I had to take absolutely everything out first, and then I will be able to just reload back the things that I am keeping. So I didn't get to save time doing it that way this time around, or any of my decor boxes that just have one item. But anyway, here it is, all spread out so that I can see it, and I will start loading back in my favorite items first. I made these last Valentine's Day and I do love them, but they do not fit in my Valentine's Day box. They're too big, but I'll share how I store those later. But anyway, here's everything I am getting rid of out of that Valentine's Day box. Next up is 4th of July. So 4th of July is a US holiday, so I know a lot of you probably don't celebrate this if you're not in the US, but every year on the 4th of July we have a cookout, a barbecue, and basically just a big family get together with fireworks and a lot of fun. So I decorate for it, but this is still a seasonal decor box that I like to minimize down to just one box. So that helps me keep it under control. These stars I am deciding to donate. They are pretty big, clunky, and I don't use them. So I'm just keeping like one red one blue one, because sometimes I'll use that on our fireplace, but that's it. So I'm getting rid of the rest of them. And here's everything that I don't use, so I will be donating. When I brought everything to the donation center, he was super appreciative that I had left all the seasonal decor together, like organized. So like the 4th of July was all in one bag, all of the St. Patrick's Day was in another bag. So if you are going through your seasonal decor and donating it, try to keep it separate. Quick overview of where we're at. I still have all that Christmas decor. We will get there, but on this side all I have left are my spring decor boxes and then basically my regular decor, but I'll get to that in a minute. So spring, I actually want to limit down to one box. That's my goal today, especially since this box is only half empty right now. So I'm taking absolutely everything out and I will be reorganizing it into another box and getting rid of anything that we do not use. So spring and Easter go together for me, and I always reuse my kids' Easter baskets. I also reuse their Easter eggs. So those things went in first, and then I'm putting in whatever my favorite decor pieces are next. So here is my empty spring bin, and here's everything we are keeping. I was able to get it all into one box, which was my goal. So these were my pesky little space wasters, and I'm not going to be using any of these. They are all unused, so I will donate them, but these are the ones I will be keeping. I only need one to reuse each year. And technically they are only like $1 each, so I don't really need to keep them. I like getting the paper ones too, so they are decomposable, but anyway, I try to limit my waste wherever I can. So I have a lot of my regular decor right here because all the fall decor is in its place in our house right now. So this is everything I took down to make room for our fall decor. So I'm just storing it in my fall box until it's time to switch it back out. I've gone through everything except Christmas now, so this is my pile of everything that's ready to go back into the closet. I've emptied 3 bins, which is absolutely insane so far. Here's everything I'm going to be donating, and now I'm tackling my gigantic pile of Christmas. So I'm just quickly going through the pile to bring over anything I know I don't really need to go through, like this entire bin of ornaments. I do use these. I will use them in different areas around our house, like garland, or last year I put them on our tree. I use a lot of the same Christmas decor each year, but I love mixing it up and using it in different ways each year. So that's my main point, is if you are like using it, you should keep it. If you are not using it, that's what you get rid of. I know I have a lot of Christmas. I will be getting rid of anything that I don't use, but I do have a lot that I do use, and this is the difference between minimalism and decluttering. Here's everything out of my ornament bin. This one our dog tore up. I think I meant to get rid of that a while ago and just never did, and just things I'm not really partial to that I need to just get rid of. So when I put away my Christmas decor last year, I definitely did not organize it very well. So since I was already going through it this time around, I decided to organize things as I went, which will probably make it a little bit easier on me when I take all of this out again in just a couple months when I decorate for Christmas. But typically it just ends up being a big game of Tetris for me when it comes to these boxes. I just want to fit as much decor in one box as possible. That way it's not taking up any more space than it needs to. So I'm going to cut through a lot of all the bins that I'm going to go through because it is very repetitive and I don't want to completely bore you guys, but I am going through every single bin, putting my hands and my eyes on every single item that I have for Christmas, and anything that I know I will use I will put in here, and anything I know I will not be using I will be putting in a donation pile. And with this video, my goal is just to help you with anything that helped me along my decluttering journey. I was excited these accessories for our outdoor lights were able to fit in the boxes that I ended up decluttering from. So they're not just sitting all loose in the closet anymore. They're in these bins that are easier to stack and store. These last ones I know didn't need to go in a bin, but I had room for them, so that was fantastic. Here's everything from our closet that I'm going to be donating. I have this entire bin full of Christmas stuff that I decided to get rid of, and then here's all of the rest of my holiday decor. I tried to group whatever I could together, that way it's easier for the people at the donation center to go through. Now it's time to organize everything back into our closet. So I am going to be vacuuming first. This is one of my favorite things to do after completely emptying a space. For some reason, it is just so satisfying to vacuum an empty room. The only way that works for me to visualize things and see how they work is to actually put the things where they're gonna go. So I really wanted to try to fit the Christmas tree in here, and I was very hopeful that there was a way, but it did not end up working out that way for me. This thing is way too big. Initially I tried putting it into the back corner, and then I was just going to put the boxes around it since I have to pull out all the Christmas stuff with it anyway, but it took up too much space back there. I really sat there and I thought about it for a while. I can at least say I tried, but this was not working. It was going to make everything way too piled on top of each other, and my goal was to be able to easily get to whatever I needed to in this closet. So started over, taking that Christmas tree out and then putting everything back in how I originally planned this closet to be like. I had gotten a certain amount of bins that fit nicely in this closet and could be easily organized and stacked onto each other. My only issue has been that Christmas tree, so I really needed to find a new home for that Christmas tree, and that will be in our garage. I'm pretty sure we're going to try and get something that can hold it up onto our ceiling so that it's still up out of the way and it's not in this closet anymore. As a reminder, here's our before, so you can remember what that looked like, and here is our after. Completely satisfying and functional. I even have a couple completely empty bins here. All my fall and Halloween is on the right, my minor holidays are here in the middle, and then all my Christmas is on the left, and then anything that doesn't fit in the bins I was able to actually put right here. Hey guys, we are going right into our next area, which is going to be our master bathroom. So here's everything we're tackling today, this entire closet. We're going to go through my husband's cabinets. We're also going to be going through my cabinets. So the first thing I need to get done in here is just a quick tidy up. Whenever I'm decluttering a space, that's always the first thing I do. I get so much more motivated to declutter and tackle the space. It's also easier when it's clean. So I'll shift my focus to decluttering and getting rid of things after I've just put everything back in its place. I find it easier to focus on one thing at a time, and if our bathroom is a mess, that's all I'm going to be focusing on, so I'm just knocking out the cleaning portion. So during my videos, I'm trying to include it at the beginning so you guys catch this and let me know in the comments what area you want me to do next. Let me know. So far we have done the playroom, the kitchen, our seasonal storage, and now out of your requests, we're doing the master bathroom. But anyway, I have 3 choices for you to pick from and vote what area you want to see next. So first, the master bedroom with our master bedroom closet. Second would be our kids' bedrooms. Or third choice is our laundry room. They're all going to be very satisfying. We're getting really close to the end here. We've already knocked out a lot of the big areas, like the playroom and the kitchen. Those were the first ones. So I'm really excited to be going downhill from here. At least that's what it feels like. It's the biggest stress relief. Like every single room I've been going through, it's another weight lifted off my shoulder. So this is my second time going around and decluttering. So it's been over 1.5 years since I decluttered the first time. I went through every single room in our house. So now that I'm going through it a second time, it has made it so much easier. I've been going through every room so much faster. And one of the areas that I actually decluttered last time was this little water closet. I had so much decor in here. I don't even know why. It's just a little toilet room, and all of it was just getting it covered in dust, and it was just making it basically harder and more time consuming for me to clean this small space. So I got rid of everything in here except for the basics. Like we have our toilet paper in here, our plunger, and our air freshener. Oh, and our squatty potty. But anyway. So although I took all the decor out of this room, it was mainly because I just wanted it to be easier to clean. You guys just saw all of my seasonal decor, so I love decor, but my main goal is to make our house stress-free. So making it easier to clean in here has lifted that weight off my shoulders. We're done cleaning, so now we're going to focus on decluttering. And the first area I'm going to tackle is this closet. I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to closets, if I'm in a hurry, I will just quickly put something in there so that it's out of the way, and then I close the door and I forget about it, and 1.5 years later, or however long it's been since I last went through this closet, it ends up looking like this. So when I am decluttering a space, I like to take absolutely everything out. So that is what I'm doing now. As I'm taking things out, I'm actually grouping them together. So I have different groups of just like items. So I have like all my first aid supplies together, I have all my hair stuff together, I have my nail stuff together, cleaning stuff together, and so on. And then once I have everything out of this closet, I will go through it and declutter it before putting it back in. But my main focus is just getting rid of everything that we don't use. I love these nail kits so much, but this is an example of something I am letting go other than the unopened one. The open pack is full of just those extra nails that I saved just in case they fell off. Clearly they've been sitting in here for a whole year because those were Christmas nails and it is now September. So I'm getting rid of that pack. Whenever I have completely emptied a space, I love taking the opportunity to dust it down and vacuum, especially the bottom of this closet. I get a ton of just hair in the back and dust and of course little daddy long legs, so I am sucking all of that up. So I'm going to go through all of my little groups here. So this one is all my first aid supply and medications. I also have these little baskets here. I put these together the last time I went through our master bathroom, and they've been incredibly helpful, but they are organized by what is in them. So like nails, hair, body, you name it. Over here I have all of our like stock items, and then last but not least, cleaning. You'll see me use these little containers a lot, and they came from Target. They are incredibly helpful, especially in drawers, but I also use them in this cabinet. So right now I'm actually putting all of my overstock or just like stock items back into the closet. I like to get things bulk sometimes and when there is a coupon, so I always like having a spot right here in our closet that I can keep it. I only do this with things that we use on a regular basis because I don't want to be keeping anything in here that I do not use. So in this little cubby I have all of our shower supplies. This one I have all of our oral supplies. I have some tissues up here and then some miscellaneous. The next shelf down here I decided to put all of our cleaning supplies. I wanted to keep this a little higher up since I do have younger kids that are 2 and 4. But anyway, we're moving on to our medicine now and all of our first aid supplies. So our first item here is expired. I also found that my hydrogen peroxide was expired. I was curious whether or not it really expired, and I was actually surprised to find out that after you open it, you need to use it within 6 months. So that was definitely way past expiration. Our Neosporin was expired in 2022. So here's your sign to go through all your first aid and your medications to make sure nothing is expired. That was the easiest way to declutter a lot of this out of here. I found a lot of things that were expired. And I just kept finding more things that were expired. So it is not always good to get the bigger size of medicine if you know you're not going to be using it all the time. Try to get those smaller ones, that way you're not wasting as much money or the medication itself. So now I have all of our medicine like decluttered down to a really good amount, and I'm able to fit it all right here on our top shelf in our medicine cabinet now. It was in that closet before, but now it can all fit right here on our top shelf. Makes it so much more convenient to get to. So this bin was so cluttered before with all the medications and everything in it, but now it is all just first aid supplies. This bin has all of our nail supplies in it, so I'm just taking everything out because it's just kind of piled on top of each other. So all this bin really needed was to be reorganized. I didn't really get rid of much out of this bin. I was just sloppy with putting things away, so all it really needed was a good straighten up. So the last time I went through and decluttered and organized our master bathroom, I got these bins, and they've been so helpful with organizing this closet. So I have them grouped together into different categories. Like the one I'm going through right now is all my body supplies. So I have a lot of my oils and lotion and just body buffing supplies. And then I have another one for like bath, hair, nails, and travel supplies. So basically anything I keep in this closet so that I can keep it grouped together, and it makes it so much easier, especially to know where that item is supposed to be. That way you're not ordering or buying any more from the store because you think you're out, but it's actually at the back of your closet and you don't realize you're buying more than you need. This bin right here is all of our travel supplies. and over the summer we made a few trips. That is why this bin is so disheveled and disorganized, because I just threw everything everywhere. I was trying to unpack quickly, and I am always limited on time. So I'm finally going through this because we are actually making another trip in October that I am super excited about. We are going to be staying in a really cute cabin in northern Georgia for my husband's 30th birthday. So now we have all of our toiletries already packed. Here's all the trash and things that I'm taking out of these bins. Not that much really, but after decluttering the last time in this bathroom a year and a half ago, I've really limited the amount of things that I've just been buying on a whim. Like, if I don't know that I'm going to be using it, I generally will not buy it anymore. We are not done in our bathroom yet, but we are done with our closet, and it is beautiful. I am so happy with how it has turned out. So all my bins are organized and back to their former glory, and all of our overstock is nicely organized on the top. Here's everything I am getting rid of out of that closet. Now I can go through all of our drawers. So I'm starting on my side. So this side is kind of considered my vanity, but really my husband and I share a lot of these drawers. The drawers on the top are always the worst for me because I try to keep everything we use on a regular basis on the top drawer. That way we're not bending over a whole bunch. I know I'm complaining about bending over and I'm only in my 30s, but it just makes everything a lot more convenient. So this drawer has a lot of miscellaneous stuff, but I do keep my earrings in here. I've just been reusing my little packets that the earrings came with, and that works for me. I should probably get like a little earring organizer, but I like to use what I have most of the time. But these organizers, I am obsessed with them. I talked about them a little bit earlier in this video, but they are from Target, just in case you were looking for them. This is an example of something I am getting rid of. I had bought it on clearance from Hobby Lobby, and yes, they are absolutely adorable, but I will never wear them because they pinch your skin and they're super pokey and uncomfortable. So I will be donating these. The next drawer I'm going through is where I keep all of my hair supplies, and things started to get a little piled on top of themselves in this drawer, so it's definitely time to go through this. Here's an example of something I am getting rid of. You can actually put these in hot water and they go back to their normal shape and size. That one I've probably put in hot water though like 30 times, so it's been losing its ability to stay that way, so it's time to just get rid of it. This brush was advertised to decrease the amount of frizz that you have in your hair, and it does not work. So I'm going to be getting rid of it. This is a body brush that needs to make its way back into my closet, and here is my heatless curl wrap that I will be putting with my hair supply in my closet as well. So I'm back to being super happy with that drawer. The next drawer down is where I keep my curling iron, straightener, and hair dryer. There's not much else I can do with that drawer. The cabinet under the sink is where I just keep a few extra towels. Those have actually served to be very helpful. These are all areas I went through last time, so if you have not seen my last decluttering series, I will make sure it is linked. These drawers used to be so full, and now they are still relatively empty. So this drawer had a few just old makeup items that I know I'm not going to be using. Old makeup is also not good for your face. The rest of the drawer is still pretty empty, but it's all things I do use. The next drawer up is where I keep all of our toothbrush and toothpaste and basically oral supplies, and this drawer also still looks fantastic, so keeping that as it is. I will use every last drop of a product, and typically when things have a pump like this one, it leaves so much at the bottom. So I will scrape it out with a spoon and usually just put it into the new full container if there is space. So that is what I did right there. Now I'm going to go through everything else that's on our counter here. I do like having this small tray with everything that I use once, if not twice a day. I was finding that I was leaving out so many things on our counter here because it was just such a pain putting things back in a drawer or the cabinet. So I decided to make a spot for it right here on our counter. And whenever you put a tray on the counter, it just makes it feel like it has a spot instead of it just sitting there. So this is all of my makeup, and these are older, almost empty pieces that I am tossing. I'm also taking this opportunity to scrub out my makeup bag. When you use something every single day, like your makeup bag, I don't think you even realize, or at least I don't, how dirty it is. And then once you clean it and you open it the next morning, you're like, whoa, this is so refreshing. I had some eyeliner marks or mascara, some black spots on it, and I just used a little bit of my makeup remover and it came right off my bag. Now it looks brand new. If you've gotten this far in my video, definitely leave a comment. Let me know you are still watching. And if you have a makeup bag, I'm curious, how often do you wash it out? So it's been at least a year, if not a year and a half, for myself. I try to clean our bathroom weekly, but this tray definitely does not make the cut usually. Clearly, it was pretty dusty and grimy, so I am wiping everything down before putting it all back on here. I am grateful that this tray is easy to wipe down and clean. We have gone through my entire vanity, so now I'm gonna work my way over to my husband's, and surprise, surprise, it's not that bad. This is actually where we keep our dog's towels because he gets them covered in hair, so he has his own towels. This drawer is basically empty. There's a lint roller in there. I cut my husband's hair, so the trimmer is in there. This top drawer though, it's always the top drawer, is an absolute mess. So I'm gonna go through this for my husband and reorganize it for him. It's really not too bad. These little organizers have helped so much with all of our drawers. They fit so well in here too. Like there aren't any huge gaps on the side or anything. It's great. But anyway, I'm still going through every single item in here and putting my hands, my eyes on everything. Getting rid of the trash, getting rid of the clutter, and just putting back what we use. I'm also taking the time to wash out all of those little trays. So since this is my husband's drawer and his vanity, I did make sure that he was okay with me going through everything, and anything that I got rid of, I passed it by him first. I wanted to make sure I wasn't getting rid of anything that he does use, and I just didn't know about it. Since we have that bottom drawer that's empty, I'm putting these chargers in there. Here's a few things I'm tossing, and then the drawer just really needed to be cleaned out and reorganized. Here's everything that I am tossing and recycling or donating, a few things that I'm donating anyway, from our bathroom today. So it's not a whole lot, but it is quite a bit considering it was just over the course of about a year and a half. But I've also been limiting the amount of things I've been bringing into our house, so wasn't too surprised by this pile. If you enjoyed today's video and found some motivation by it, I hope you hit that thumbs up for me. Hey guys, we're gonna get right into today's video, which is gonna be decluttering our master bedroom and our master bedroom closet. So I just wanted to give you a quick overview of what they look like. Not bad from the outside. But once we get to the drawers, it becomes a whole nother world. I get a little sloppy inside these drawers sometimes, and I definitely need to clean these out. I'll be grouping my master bedroom closet, not my husband's. His is on this side. I'm gonna stay away from his. He can do his own, but this is my closet. And as you guys know, I redid this myself. It's been almost a year, so it hasn't been that long, but I'm gonna get into the nitty gritty. I have some bins and different things that I didn't really go through the first time I decluttered in there, so it's gonna be really good. My first step whenever I am decluttering is just to do a quick tidy of the space. So that is what I'm doing now before getting into all the nitty gritty, the drawers, and our closet. So in my last video, I decluttered our master bathroom, and I asked you guys what room you wanted me to do next, and it was neck and neck with the master bedroom here and the laundry room. I think the master bedroom won by like 1 vote. So here we are, and next up will definitely be the laundry room, and then I'll be moving on to our kids' rooms. I definitely need to share our garage with you guys, but because I know a lot of you have been requesting that. That is my husband's like area. Like the rest of the house, I get to organize, decorate, and kind of put together, but the garage is his space. So I will probably give you guys just like an overview of what our garage looks like, because it's actually very organized. My husband does a great job at keeping it cleaned out and put together. But anyway, I love hearing from you guys, so definitely make sure you are leaving a comment below, letting me know that you're watching, and just tell me if you've been enjoying this series. My eye has been getting so much better at spotting things that I know that will just end up sitting around. This was given to me. It was kind of a just hand-me-down gift, but I don't have enough time for all these tiny little gems. I wish I did, but I am just gonna like bite the bullet and donate it or give it away or give it back to the person that gave it to me, and just not let it sit in my closet for years on end. So I've tidied up our master bedroom, so now I'm just tidying up the closet, and I have a lot of clothes that are just laying on the floor. They're either like half dirty, like, you know, those clothes that they're clean but they can be worn again, but they're not clean enough to be with the other clean clothes, if that makes any sense. Anyway, my daughter, she's 4, also loves playing in here, so I was just taking out a few of her things. So this actually came from our desk, and I put it in here because we really need a file cabinet. But anyway, I'll get to that later. These white bins actually came from my husband's closet when he cleaned it out, and I'm gonna put them up right here. I was just saying, yay, no more diapers, because those were the last ones for my son. He's 2, and we just potty trained him successfully. He's been doing so good. So instead of taking absolutely everything out all at once like I typically do, since I have everything basically organized in here into little cubbies, I'm going to be doing it like cubby by cubby just to make it a little bit easier on myself. But if you want to see a really good declutter of this entire closet before I had it organized, I will make sure all of those are linked in the comment below or in the description. So I love giving you guys little ideas of what I'm getting rid of. These are little cases and armbands for my watch, and these are all too big. I have been telling myself I was going to sew them down and make them smaller, but let's be real, I'm never going to get around to doing that, so I'm just donating it all. Okay, so these bins I didn't really go through last time, but they are our memento boxes. I don't know what else. There's a bunch of like keepsakes and stuff in here that I really need to go through. The one with the blue lid is actually my parents', and I briefly went through it, but it's really not mine to go through, so I was gonna give it to my mom and she can kind of decide what she wants to do with it. Long story short, they've been short on space, so I was holding on to some items for them, and that was one of them. Anyway, I'm going through all of my memento stuff, and I could not believe how much stuff I was just packing away in here that I did not need. Like my graduation hat. Like, why am I holding on to this thing? I'll be cutting through a lot of this, but just kind of pointing out things that, I don't know, might give you a better idea of what you might be packing away to and what you could get rid of as well. So this was a really old memento box that I've been holding on to, and it's been years since I've gone through this. I can't even remember who Noelle is, so why am I holding on to this? This was another thing. In 2006, we had a Girl Scout camp flag retirement ceremony. So these are ashes from a flag, and I don't know whose idea this was, not mine, but I don't know why I am holding on to it. This is another thing, like, I don't know what the heck this is from. Obviously it's Disney, Flight of Wonders. It says it's for a magical moment that I'm gonna remember for the rest of my life, but I don't remember. I have some overexposed old Polaroids, and these are actually teeth that I got pulled out like years and years ago. Disgusting. Guys, it literally took me all day to go through that memento box, but I do have this whole pile of things that I was able to take out of there and I'm getting rid of, and I was able to fit a lot of my journals and my scrapbook in here that were not able to fit before. One of these days I'll be able to put our scrapbooks on our bookcase where they belong, but for now my kids just tear them to pieces. I tried, but 2- and 4-year-olds really aren't good for scrapbooks. So this little cubby that I'm doing next is my seasonal clothing. I guess that's what you could call it, seasonal clothing. So I have like maybe 3 Halloween shirts that I like, and I am obsessed with Christmas. You guys probably know that from my seasonal decor declutter. You saw all that Christmas decor that I have. Anyway, I also have a bin full of Christmas clothes that I keep in my closet here with just a few other Halloween tops, but I did end up getting rid of a few things there. Next up is my work bag, which really needed to be cleaned out, and this is the exact moment that I noticed some weird little, I don't know if they're bugs or droppings or what, but they are teeny tiny, and I definitely cleaned all of those up and made sure they were not in my bag. So besides being a basically full-time mom, stay-at-home mom, I am a registered nurse. So I work like 1 day a week right now. I'm just working like a 6-hour shift just to kind of keep my foot in the door. It's also just a really nice security to just kind of like fall back on. YouTube is just a little hobby for me. Honestly, you guys keep me so motivated to do things and stay on top of things around my home that it motivates me to keep making these videos for you guys to be motivated. So it goes both ways here. Anyway, this bag was getting pretty cluttered. I have a lot of things that I need for my nursing job, a lot of paperwork that I need to hold on to, and of course my stethoscope and different things like that. But there was also a bunch of stuff in here that I did not need. So all of this you see on the floor is coming right out of that bag, and I am putting it where it belongs or throwing it away or wherever it goes. So in the past, I have taken all of our clothes and put it on our bed. It's called like the KonMari method. You just pile it all together in one spot, and it makes you really realize how much you actually have and forces you to really put your eyes and hands on every single item. So I'm still doing that here. I'm going through every single item, but I really don't have as much as I have had in the past. So I felt like it was so much easier for me to really just go through these one by one on the hangers and just take out whatever I know I'm not going to be wearing again. So the left side of my closet is where I keep all of our long sleeves. I have all my like hoodies on the left, and then I have cardigans. I love cardigans, just normal long sleeve shirts, even though it's not winter right now, but they're all hanging there. I have all my dresses all the way right here on the right, and I do have a spot on my closet for my longer dresses. That's really nice. These shoes are going to be my next area to tackle. So if you can't tell already, I'm not a huge shoe guru. I have a limited amount here that I am perfectly happy with and content. I'm not a big shoe person. I also, if you can't tell, a lot of them are very neutral and can go with so many different outfits. But I've never been very big into fashion or anything. I'm a very jeans and t-shirt kind of person. This went to a mattress cover that we no longer have anymore, unfortunately, so it was unopened, but it's something I need to get rid of because I'm not using it. So I was on the fence of actually keeping this file cabinet, but we really need one. So I am going to keep it in here. It used to be in our desk area that is now my sitting area. But anyway, I feel like I need to like decorate it, like paint it and make it look a lot nicer in here. Maybe put some like flower decals on it or something. So I'm still going through one by one. I do cut through a lot of it because I think it might be a little bit boring for you guys to watch me to go through every single shirt here, but I am making sure each one of these are things that I do actually wear. So I think I'm actually going to move all the hangers backwards. It's a really good way of trying to see what you've actually worn the past year. The last time I did this, or tried to do it, I was pregnant, so that did not work. Or I became pregnant like after I had started it, so that did not work for me that year. And now that we're not planning on having any more kids anytime soon, I really want to try that again. So basically, hangers go on backwards, and anything that you wear, you put it on forward. And then by the end of the year, you check to see what's backwards, and those are all the items that you did not wear. So before starting, I was actually hurting for some hangers. I really needed some, but now I have all these extra ones. And this is a pile of more clothes that I'm adding to my donation pile. This is something I really felt was worth sharing. It was something a lot of you found helpful the last time I went through, but it's my sheets. They are folded up and then put inside one of the pillowcases. It keeps the set nicely like organized together, and it looks so much better on the shelf. I'm not done yet. We still have to go through the rest of our master bedroom, but this is my completely refreshed closet, and I can't even describe how good it feels. Next up is my nightstand. So this bottom drawer is actually where I keep all of my supplies for editing these videos. So my laptop and basically any of the power cords and the microphone that I use to record my videos. The next drawer here is actually going to be getting relocated. A lot of this is actually papers and things that I need to file, or put away somewhere else, not in this drawer. So I have that file cabinet that's in my closet now, so they will be going right in there. This one just had the most random things in here. I don't even know how the manuals made their way in here, but they have a spot in my file cabinet with all the other manuals that we have. So here's everything that's coming out of my nightstand. A lot of this just really didn't belong in there in the first place. And here is the file cabinet that I have in my closet. So it's completely empty. So I'm going to utilize it now that I'm positive that I'm going to be keeping it. So if you guys have a good eye and were watching closely, in those last shots you would have seen all of these just organizers. This is my little, I don't know, it just reminds me of a squirrel gathering all its nuts and, you know, packing them away. That's me with organizers. So I had actually been holding on to these as I was decluttering the rest of our house to make sure I didn't eat it anywhere else, and I don't. So I'm definitely getting rid of those now. I love these under the bed bins. I have some just like storage saver bags in here. This one's not too exciting. The other one is full of our like winter stuff. And then I got these pillows and we don't like them. And it's super unfortunate, but they're not working for us. And I shoved them under our bed to try and forget about them, but we need to just donate them so somebody else can use them. Talk about wanting to forget about something. This is actually a laptop box that I did forget about, and I actually just sold the laptop for parts. The motherboard had gone bad for it like within a year and a half. It was absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, I digress. I want to forget about it now, and that box is being recycled. Going through more of the drawers. A lot of these drawers are actually my husband's, so I will not be going through those, but I will be going through all of mine. This is the pile from earlier. It's some of the donations and just trash from my memento boxes. And I'm finally just putting it all inside a trash bag. I feel like I probably should have started with a trash bag in the first place instead of just making a pile on the floor. But it does give you guys a pretty good idea of how much I was actually able to go through and get rid of. This drawer is where I like to keep all my pajamas, so I'm just taking absolutely everything out so it's easier for me to go through on our bed. Anything I don't wear anymore but I want to remember, I'll just take a quick picture of and then I can let it go. I went through like my socks and underwear drawer, but I'm not going to do that on camera. Anyway, here's all of our donations and trash, recycling that is making its way out of our master bedroom and our closet. Hello and welcome to part 6 of my whole house decluttering series. Today we are going to be tackling the laundry room. So here's a quick overview of what our laundry room looks like right now. It's definitely not the worst, but I will also link all the other times I have decluttered in here. So On top of decluttering, I will also be doing some deep cleaning. You can see some of the just powder all over these cabinets in here. There are also some great surprises behind the washer and dryer as always. So here's the right side of our laundry room, and then on the other wall I just have all these hooks. I'm pretty sure I want to get rid of this mirror, so that'll be coming out of here, and we are just going to tidy all of this up and get rid of everything that we do not use. So I wanted to do this room a little bit different than all the other areas. Because it's so small, I just wanted to take absolutely everything out so that I could literally do the deepest clean possible. It's also going to force me into touching absolutely everything in here, and then I can really determine what I need to keep and what I do not need. I've taken everything out of this closet. There's some dust bunnies down there that I will be getting to later, but first I'm just going to focus on taking everything out of here. I decided I wanted to take this mirror down. I felt like it was actually making it feel smaller in here. Like sometimes you can put a mirror up and it makes the room feel bigger and brighter, but I think because of this like darker black frame of this mirror, it was making it just feel smaller than it was. So anyway, this wall is already white, it's bright, and I'm going to move those hooks up a little bit further. You'll see that in a little bit, but taking down that mirror actually made this room feel bigger to me, so I'm very happy that I will be donating that. Last thing in here that I need to take out is everything in these cabinets. I cannot wait to clean these out and just get them back to looking new. So here we are, a completely empty laundry room. It looks like we are moving out. And seriously, this is going to make it so much easier to do a nice deep clean in here. And then I can just focus on bringing back what we actually need into this space. So first things first, I wanted to clean up this wall. I wanted to bring the hooks up a little higher since I got rid of that mirror that was above them. That way it'll give us a little bit more room between the hanging things, and then we have our shoes on the bottom. I already needed to touch up the paint on this wall, so filling in the holes from all of those hooks that I moved wasn't too much of an inconvenience. And then I'm just taking the same white paint that is already on this wall and covering up those holes and all those black smudge marks that were all over this wall. That's the only downfall to white paint, is it literally shows everything. So it needs some touching up from time to time. So while the paint dries on this wall, I'm gonna deep clean the rest of the laundry room. Sometimes it's hard to see all the splatter marks until you remove everything. So there was like softener and detergent on the back of this wall, so I was making sure to wipe all of that down. And then I got a good look at this bar up here for just hang drying clothes, and it's just completely covered in dust. All I needed to do was take a microfiber cloth to it, but I was pretty surprised by how dusty that was. have a shelf in here that I really needed to repair. It was already falling apart, but all it needed was a few extra nails. I just hadn't gotten around to re-nailing it. It also needs to be stained, but that'll be a project for another day. Sometimes it's really hard to show you guys just how grimy and dirty things are, so I'm trying to get a close-up of our washer and dryer here and show you what I'm going to be washing off. The camera definitely does not show all the dust and grime that I am cleaning up sometimes. After cleaning off the washer and dryer, I just moved on to the sink in here, making sure to get all those nooks and crannies, all that dirt that just gets lodged into them, and just making it look brand new again. Next up, I'm just dusting off all the shelves inside this closet. I also wanted to make sure I got all of these dirty little dust bunnies down here. I have the rest of our laundry room all nicely cleaned up, so now I'm just moving the washer and the dryer to see what kind of surprises they are saving for me. I always know there's going to be a ton of just dirt and dust, but sometimes there's like this. It's a water bottle, a washcloth, and part of a balloon. Like, I don't know exactly how they got back there, but they did. The like duct vent had like fallen off when I pulled the dryer back, but I did make sure to reconnect that tightly before moving it back. I made sure to reconnect the dryer vent nice and tight before moving these back, and now that it is super like deep cleaned in here, it looks like a brand new home. I'm ready to bring everything that we need back into this space and get rid of anything that we don't. So here's where I had like brought everything. Basically right outside our laundry room is where our dining room table is, and I just put everything out here. So it looks like a hot mess, but honestly it did not take me that long to take everything out and now put it all back in. I feel like this really forced me to put my hands and my eyes on everything in here and really try to focus on what I actually use. So with these cabinets, I do need some stairs to reach the top shelf. I am 5'5", so I'm not like super short, but these cabinets are really high up. So anything that I don't use on a regular basis always goes to the top of a cabinet, and anything I use more regularly is going to go on the bottom. That way it's easier for me to reach. So before even putting anything back into the cabinets in here and this closet, I made sure to go through the bins, absolutely everything in them, and get rid of whatever I know we're not using. So when it comes to our steam mop, I have two. So I'm getting rid of one, and I got rid of all the attachments for it. So this bin is a lot emptier than it was before. I definitely don't need one that is quite that big, but I am just using whatever I have right now. And here's a reminder that functionality is way better than Pinterest-worthy spaces. We all don't have $100+ to redo a closet that nobody else is gonna see, so don't worry about what it looks like. Just make sure it is functioning for you and your family. And here's our finished, deep cleaned, reorganized, decluttered laundry room, and I could not be happier with it. I am always surprised by how much I end up getting rid of in a space, especially since it's been less than a year since I last went through it. But this whole pile is trash. I had some filters down here from a vacuum that I no longer have anymore. I'm deciding to get rid of this steam mop because I already have another one, so I'll be selling that. And then I have a couple shoes over here that don't fit Cece anymore, and of course that mirror that we will be donating. Hello and welcome to part 7 of my decluttering series right here on my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be tackling Cecilia and Owen's rooms. So Cecilia is 4. Here is a quick overview of what her room looks like right now. She likes to hide a whole bunch of things inside her drawers, and then over here in her closet tends to be my little storage area. This is typically locked, so I keep our book rotation system in here, and I will explain more about that later. But this closet was in desperate need for me to clean it out. Stuffies, and more stuffies. So my husband actually went through all of our stuffed animals recently with our daughter Cecilia, and he had her narrow down what stuffed animals were her favorite and what ones she was willing to let go. And I was completely surprised by how many Cecilia was willing to let go to somebody else that could use them. And she got rid of 45 stuffed animals. So this is what we are left with, which is a completely manageable amount of stuffies. It didn't take me that long to pick them up off the floor, so now I'm just going to go through all of her dresser drawers. So this one actually has most of her cards inside it, and in one of my last videos you guys had recommended getting one of those like ring binders and just punching a hole in each of the cards and then holding them together with that ring so that they're all grouped together and they don't get tossed around everywhere, and it's easier to clean them up. I just need to remember to get that ring the next time I go to the store. I never think about it. So I'm going to work my way through each of her drawers. This top one has all her bathing suits, her underwear, her socks, and I'm just cleaning that up really quick. There wasn't much that I needed to take out of there. Then the rest of the drawers, I decided to take all of her clothes out. So all of her t-shirts, all of her shorts, all of her like long sleeves. There was one drawer that I keep her pajamas in, and that one I decided to just keep it just as it is because I knew everything in there fit her and I didn't need to do anything with it, so I'm not going to make more work for myself. These were the clothes I wasn't really sure about, but my kids are like right in between sizes right now. So it's like 5T is just a little bit big on her, but 4T is just a little bit too small, and they both kind of fit for the most part, so we're right in that middle area right now, and I know she's gonna go through a growth spurt any day now, and I'll end up needing to get rid of a lot more clothes then. This is just an ongoing process when you have kids, especially the newborn through the first year. I felt like I needed to go through their dressers at least once a month because they were constantly growing out of their clothes. It's really hard for me to limit their clothes because whenever I go to the store, there are so many cute little girls' clothes especially, but I try to limit it down to about a week and a half worth of clothes. This has made the whole process of doing their laundry, like washing it, folding it, and putting it away, so much easier for me, and it fits in all of these nice little bins perfectly. I will make sure these bins are linked in the description because I absolutely love them. I've had them since Cecilia was born, so almost 5 years now, and I can't recommend them enough for kids' clothes. They just work so nicely for keeping them organized, and I like to fold them in a way that you can see everything that's in there and easily get to what you need. This bottom left drawer is where I keep all of Cecilia's sheets, and I'm going to show you how I typically like to keep my sheets together. When I found this little hack out, I have never turned back, and I've shared it in my past decluttering videos, and it completely blew a lot of your minds too. So just in case you have not seen this before, you put your sheets together in a nice little fold and then stick them inside the pillowcase. It keeps everything very nicely put together, so you have your whole set in one spot. So not only does it keep it organized, I think it just looks so much better. So if this is in a little closet or something, they're gonna look great, and you don't have to buy any extra organizational supplies. If any of you have one of those zipper bed sheets for the kids' beds, let me know how it works for you. I just cannot decide if it's worth it because they are a little bit pricey, so I would love to hear from somebody that has one already. But anyway, room is cleaned. Now we're going to focus on this very messy closet. So whenever I'm cleaning out something like a closet, I like to take absolutely everything out. It forces you to put your eyes, your hands on every single item in there and really ask yourself whether or not you need it or not. So I'm working my way through. I like to do it kind of systematically. I'll do one section at a time. And as I take things out, I'm grouping them into an area of keep, toss, or donate. So this is our book rotation system. Looks like a mess right now. Anyway, this closet is always locked, so my kids cannot get to all the books in here. The books they can get to are the ones that I rotate out of this closet and into the living room, about 20 or so, that I keep on the shelf in there in the living room. So this system has helped with so many different things. One being that it's so much easier to clean up the books around our house. My son used to just tear every single book off the shelf and we would just be left with a pile all over our living room floor. The second thing that it has helped with is my kids are so much more interested in the books that I rotate out, because it's like they're getting a new book anytime I rotate them out with the books that are in here. So it's also really helped with their excitement for reading, and that's something I really want to foster in my kids, especially starting at a really young age. So this is the pile of baby books that my kids no longer need anymore. I will be donating those. There were also a few odds and ends on this bookcase that I will also be donating, but I have all the books grouped together on the bookcase, and they are no longer on the side of it or all over the top. Time to take all the random stuff out of this closet and donate it or put it where it needs to be, not in this closet, that's for sure. I have always loved throw blankets. I've loved them for a very long time, so I used to buy them all the time. Anyway, I have slowed down on my throw blanket buying, but any of the ones that I've gotten in the past, I still save in my daughter's closet here. I don't think there's that many, but anyway, my daughter and my son, they love using them to build forts with, so I'm not getting rid of them. They're being used. That's what matters here. They're being used, not for like their intended purpose, but they make great fort building blankets. So the bags I'm putting away here, I've actually already organized in the past. One has my son's newborn clothes, my daughter's newborn clothes, and then all their Christmas pajamas. So I actually have some crafts planned with those. I probably won't be able to do it until my kids are a bit older, but I'm going to be making a quilt out of their newborn clothes, and then I'm also going to make a tree skirt out of their Christmas pajamas. So I'm so excited for those, but for now they're just going to be stored in that bin in her closet until I can get around to it. Here's a quick overview of what we've done so far. I'm going to go through everything that's hanging and then all that stuff that's on the top. So like I said earlier, Cecilia is definitely in between sizes right now, and I think when I come back in about a couple more months, we're going to be getting rid of half of those dresses, but for now all of those fit her, so I'm just going to keep them here. She is absolutely obsessed with sundresses right now. It's the only thing she wants to wear. So the top of this closet is definitely like a real life moment. Definitely just make sure your closets work for you. Don't worry about them looking like they're Pinterest worthy or anything like that. This one just has a lot of storage for Cecilia and Owen when they're older, like my husband's old computer. We don't want to sell it or get rid of it right now because we know pretty soon we're going to be setting it right back up for Owen and Cecilia. So we're not going to get rid of it so that we can buy a new one. So instead, we're just keeping it stored here until they are ready for it. We keep the pack and play stored in here, some of their quilts for when it gets colder. And this is a true closet in my opinion. It does not need to be perfect. It just needs to be functional. And most importantly, just get rid of anything that you do not use. You do not need to be storing anything that you will not use or enjoy. I'm going to be finishing Cecilia's room up in here by vacuuming it, and then I'll be moving on to Owen's room. So Owen's room is so much more simple than Cecilia's. Cecilia is old enough that she's starting to collect all her little trinkets and cards and everything. Owen, on the other hand, he has his crib, he has his dresser, and then all of their toys are in the playroom. So if you want to see their Playroom Declutter, that was the first room I went through. It's incredibly satisfying, but I will make sure that's linked in the description. His closet in here is also the same size as Cecilia's. It's a walk-in closet, but I don't use it for his clothes. I use it for our seasonal decor storage, and I went through all of that in another video. So if you want to see that, I will also make sure it's linked below. But anyway, I'm just starting out in here by cleaning it up as I would every single day. I'm changing his sheets. I'm gonna lay up all his stuffies back up in his bed nicely, just how he likes them. This just brings my kids so much joy when their stuffies are just lined up nicely and ready to greet them. So I just love lining them up like this whenever I get a chance. So this is the dresser that I will be going through in here and decluttering. The diaper pail will be making its way out of here in today's video. Owen is officially potty trained. We are basically a diaper-free house. I am so excited. The only time we still wear, like Owen still wears like a pull-up is at night, just in case, because you know he's only 2.5, so he still has accidents at night sometimes, but most of the time he's staying dry, and it just makes me so happy but also super sad because it means my babies are growing up. So this is me saying goodbye to our diaper pail and the butt cream. It's definitely a bittersweet moment. So I had just recently gotten a new order of pull-ups and wipes. Yes, we are still prepared for accidents. So I'd keep all of his pull-ups here. He has his new underwear. This middle drawer here, I'm actually going to put his socks in. I also keep, this is like a charger for his little moon lamp here. Anyway, keep that back there. This drawer, let's see, there's a couple diapers in here that we do not need anymore. I will probably bring those to work. I work with kids at the hospital, so we definitely have a use for them there. And this drawer usually gets packed with all of our wipes, so I'm just going to wash it out and then stock it back up. So I had actually ordered these wipes before Owen had potty trained. I did not think it was going to be that easy to potty train him, but it was. So we have a surplus of wipes here that are probably going to last us a really long time. So I will probably end up donating a lot of these to our church. We do a lot of just fundraising and donations for parents in need. But I love keeping this box so I can put any donations inside it because it has the little handles on the side. It's easy to carry and I can just drop it off wherever the donation center is, and it makes it so much easier. Anyway, I'm going to go through all of Owen's clothes now, so I'm just going to take them all out of his drawers here. So I feel like Owen is in the same boat as Cecilia when it comes to clothing. Like, he is right there in between sizes. He can be a 2T, he can also be a 24 months, but it's like borderline. He is so close to growing out of all of his 24-month clothing. So I'm holding on to it for just a little bit longer, but I said it before, so I'll say it again. Kids clothing is just an ongoing decluttering process. I love these bins. I love organizing their clothes this way. So if you get a chance to try it out, I really hope you do. It just really helps keep all of them so organized and in place, and you can see exactly what's in there and easily get to what you need. So I'd kind of condensed a lot of his clothes down to the two top drawers. So I wanted to focus on these bottom drawers just being for the sheets, and then his extra pull-ups. So I'm just putting all the sheets on the right, and then I'm going to fill up the bottom left one here with all of his extra pull-ups. I also had the hardest time getting them to fit properly in there, and this was the only way I could get them. So I'm going to be finishing Owen's room with a really good deep vacuum in here, and I cannot believe it. This is the last room that I needed to go through and declutter. It has been such a stress relieving process. It feels so good to have gone through every single room in our house and declutter and get rid of everything that we don't use. So thank you for following me along on this process and encouraging me. Now it's my turn to encourage you. I hope these videos have motivated you and gotten you up and going and decluttering in your own homes, because it is just such a great feeling living in a house that is not just cluttered with a bunch of things that you don't need. So if you enjoyed the series, definitely hit that thumbs up for me. It helps my channel out so much. I appreciate every single one of those thumbs up. Definitely leave a comment. Let me know that you are watching. I love hearing from you guys. And subscribe if you're new. I make a new cleaning, organizing, or decorating video every single Sunday. And I will see you all next week in a brand new video. Bye.